God, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. It's absolutely the best.
Okay, we're live here.
Jesus! Love you, God!
Right.
We're live here.
You ready to rock?
Oh, whoa, did you just knock back that LaCroix right off?
God dang. Slow down.
Wait a second.
Slow down with the sparkle waters there, buddy.
0 calories.
Starting to worry about you.
But I could drink as much as I wanted to. It's like 12 ounces. That's the thing.
Except for the poison they put in the can lining.
That's true.
Yeah.
But if you drink it fast.
It's the same shit that's in chemtrails.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, I'm ready to record when you are ready, Scott, so let me know.
I'm pretty much ready. Ready to rock this?
Okay. I'm ready.
There's pretty much ready, and then there's...
I'm ready to go.
Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my beer first.
There's pretty much ready, and there's...
Live from the Sportique Studios, where it's cold outside, but you can warm your mitts over toasty takes. This is the South Stands Denver Fancast. I'm Colin Daniels with producer Scott Stafford, sports broadcasting legend, and Jim Henson creation, Gil Whiteley. And your host, John Reedy. Yeah! Woo! God damn! Woo!
No louder intro in all of sports podcasting.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Woo! We got Gil Whiteley!
I know some guys never ask me.
D-Mac at this point.
There's been a few. But hey, welcome to the show, everybody. It's South Stands Live, show 281. And we're back, and we got a special guest tonight. He hasn't been back for probably, I would say, 8 years.
I'm going to go 7. I'm going 7.
Okay.
I put the over-under at 7.5.
Okay, 7. I'll have to look it up. But Gil Whiteley's back with us, everybody. Welcome, Gil.
Thanks for having me, guys. I was setting up lunch with Colin, and next, so about 7 o'clock.
Well, we're glad to have you because you were at the old studio way down Broadway, the little
way to South Broadway, down near Frank's the Pizza King,
right by Frank the Pizza King. We called it the concrete bunker. It's great. Yeah,
it was a concrete bunker because it was basically a little concrete room, and we were all huddled together. We got a lot more room here now.
This is really nice. I mean, it's good. This could be a. Well, it is a TV show.
I'm sure you've worked in lesser studios.
Oh my God! When we first started on Mile High Sports.
In the garden level.
No. It was above the hood in the old spaghetti factory.
Oh my God!
And then everything, everything was covered in that dust that was grease.
Oh, it was dust.
It was the worst. And there was this huge.
It's like dating Brandon Spano.
There was this huge hum in the middle of the signal. It went. And everybody kept talking, I can't listen with that hum. I said, what hum?
That was Renault's ass.
It must be your radio getting the radio.
Well, the old concrete bunker, we had feces.
There was rat feces
everywhere.
And then occasionally the dispensary next door, it would leach through the wall and it'd be like,
well, this is
like
nice.
Weed and rat
This is nice. You can hang meat in here, but this is nice.
It is cold. I've had a space heater running since like 11 o'clock this morning, and it's just tilting at windmills.
I wish everyone could see it. It's right behind where the laptop.
If you go stand right close to it, put your hands over it, you'll feel some warmth emanating
from
it.
Bullshit. Yeah, it's cold in the winter and it's hot as hell in the summer, so you can't win.
Like we're shirtless in the summertime.
It's good time. Yeah, it's real sweaty
and oiled up.
Yeah, the only thing you can win at is just having a great show, and we're glad to have you back, and we got plenty to talk about.
Oh my gosh,
we got so much to talk to you about. I think the main thing, and I just want to dive right in, and I just want to pick your knowledgeable brain about this. You've been around for a long time. You know everybody. You know John Elway. You've had John Elway on before.
I have.
You know him personally. Should people be worried about the direction the Broncos are going? From what you know of Elway and what you've seen go on, what do you think about his job so far and the future of it?
John Elway, the player, would never want to play for John Elway, the general manager.
Oh,
he's a completely different guy now than he was then. I haven't talked to John in 5 years or so. He used to come in my place where I had dinner with him at the Brown Palace 2 weeks after they beat Green Bay in the Super Bowl. But John's kind of moved around. He's got all the dead wood, especially the media.
well, that's understandable, right?
One thing I know about John Elway, he'll never stop trying. He's not Dan Marino, who took that job in Miami as a position. John took this as a job, and he's going to keep trying. Now he has not proven that he can select a quarterback out of the draft.
But is he the right man for the job as the general manager?
I really don't know. This is his last hire. If it's a success, it's his last hire. And if Fangio doesn't make it work, it's John's last hire.
Here's a way of asking you a question and making a statement at the same time, which is one of the most annoying things people do. So forgive me.
But you're very good at it.
Though. I know.
You've done it for years.
I know. I have. I believe that. Do you believe, like I do, Gil? That's how I made it a question. See that. John Elway is not the right man for the job, however, is absolutely necessary at this time and place because of the ownership situation. Would it not be a completely rudderless ship if he were to be forced out now?
Wow. I hadn't quite thought of it then. I mean, the whole wink agreement on the ownership group is the most qualified daughter that was delivered to Annabelle.
Right.
So, I mean,
right.
Thinks that's
one of Annabelle's kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was manipulating Pat after he went to see that?
It'll be Brittany, who's really smart. I've only talked to her one time very briefly. I was introduced to her.
I don't want an NFL owner named Brittany in my town. I'm sorry.
It is problematic, but I think if she's smart, she can do the job.
Joe Ellis was fighting this because the second anybody takes over, Joe Ellis is gone. I don't think John's gone no matter what, but things will change at that point.
Well, I think once that point comes, that's when John needs to go.
John, if they sell it, John has the wherewithal of putting people together to buy it. So does Joe Ellis.
And I sat down with somebody will remain nameless months and months and months ago who told me that he believed there was an offer on the table for the Broncos in the $80 billion range, and that or the $40 billion range.
It's only worth about $2.5 billion.
Yeah, it's not like $4.
What did the Carolina Panthers sell for?
Oh, I don't know. The Broncos are worth.
No, it was $2. Yeah, the Panthers sold for 2.4. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and it was 2.8. Was what I heard. Was on the table.
And it's quickly becoming out of John and Joe Ellis's range. Joe Ellis has Bush money behind him.
Not billions. Not Enron type of money.
The people that surrounded Bush and the Bush family, they all have money.
What do you project the outcome is? You know the organization far better than he and I, any of us, ever will know that organization because you've been around it for so long. What do you think is the likely outcome, and what do you think is the correct outcome with regard to the ownership situation?
Well, I think Brittany's going to become the owner sooner rather than later. I would think within 18 months, Brittany will be named the owner. It's being forced that way because is it Paul Bolin, the brother, that he's doing lawsuits. He sold his shares of the Broncos. He doesn't even have any shares in the Broncos, and he's suing the Broncos Trust and all the things that are going with that. And he sold his. Because he got in money trouble, he sold his shares, which were not voting shares, and non-voting shares sell for pennies on the dollar, just to get himself,
And that's
flushing
so some car dealership owner can say he owns a part of the Broncos. It doesn't mean it.
That's Scott's share in the show. He's not a voting member, but he has some shares. So sorry, Scott. I didn't know.
It's sweat equity.
I didn't know if you knew that or not. So.
But I think Brittany will be the owner sooner rather than later, and I think she'll keep good people around her. I believe that means John Elway will stay for the time being. I don't think she could get by without John's support.
No, and I think having him there is obviously important because he could just be a figurehead at the very least. He could take a paycheck and go golfing every day and show up and wave and be like, "Oh, Elway's got it, everybody," and then somebody else could run the team. So it's obviously they got to put smart people around her.
Kind of feels like Joe Ellis is like Littlefinger in this, and
perhaps
Game of
Thrones reference.
Maybe Brittany is John.
He has that look too. He looks a little like.
Wow, a little Game of Thrones thrown there.
I
I think you're giving him a little more. I think you're giving him a little more credit than he's probably. Littlefinger's a little smarter than that, but
not anymore.
Oh, spoiler! Spoiler. Hold on.
Not anymore.
But we're going to talk.
Not anymore. The daughters took care of Littlefinger.
We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little movies, a little TV. I know Gil, you've been involved with that for a long time, but we're going to get into some of that later. Maybe talk a little Oscars and.
But doesn't the Bush family and the Lannisters create a perfect parallel?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
We jumped hard into Broncos right off the bat, which usually we save for the last 10% of the show just to torture people because screw that.
He knows John Elway. I had to ask him.
He knows John Elway. But he also knew Irv Brown. And I just wanted to touch quickly on the celebration of life. I wasn't able to go. I had to work. But how was it? How many people showed up? Tell us a little bit about it.
I think it's about 8,000 or 10,000. I'm not sure what it seats. I think there were anywhere between maybe 1,400 and 1,800. A lot of people. I mean, but they were spread out in a place like that, so it's really hard to tell. It was a very nice showing. It really was, and I think, wow, there was probably 1,000 of them were media guys.
Sure.
And everybody would have loved to have talked. Everybody who talked did a really nice job. And it was, I don't have a career. I was when I first opened Maxfield, the restaurant I had here, I advertised on. You guys remember KMVP?
No.
Yeah, that was the sports station before KBIG. And
I barely remember KBIG. But I don't remember KMVP. So I think you had to own an Edsel to hear that station.
KBIG wasn't a bad station. It was 1090. Anyway, I advertised on Irvin, Joe, and Dave.
Logan.
And part of my deal was on Thursday afternoon, I'd come on and they'd ask, "Hey, what's going on at the bar?" And I'd do 3 or 4 minutes, not even a segment, and talk some sports.
Kind of like the Blake Street Tavern dude does.
There you go. Absolutely. And when that happened, KBIG only had one sports show. And then the rest of it was like, the Dog Doctor and all these other crazy things. And they decided to go all sports. And Irv said to Van Curious, that kid that comes in, we've never had met at that time. So he said, that kid that comes on Thursday afternoon with us from Maxfield, he knows a little bit about sports. So Van Curious came to me and said, "Would you like to do a show?" And without Irv having done that, because Van said to me, Irv Brown said, "You know a little about sports." I said, "Well, I've been around it my whole life."
So let me ask you this: at that time, was the brokered model?
It was, it was cost me, I don't know, I think it was $250, and I was spending $250 to advertise 5 days a week
in your own business.
My business,
and get to sit in front of a microphone and talk smack.
And I get the microphone for an hour. They offered me Friday 1 to 2, and I said, I get the microphone. And then they gave me more spots and more everything. Brokerage show went for 2 weeks. They never billed me, and then they went to programming, and they said, "We'd like you to do Monday too." I said, "Let me get this right." I was getting 9 spots. Then I was getting 18 that I could sell, which were easy to sell. Next thing you know, I'm making $1,000 a week just doing radio twice a week.
No, you were Eric Goodman before Eric Goodman.
It was crazy. And here I am, almost 33 years later. I saw my 33rd year in May.
What's a big difference between when you saw running a bar, restaurant, seeing athletes? What's the biggest difference in like the existence of social media? Do you think that anything that was going on back then would even fly today with the existence of social media?
Oh no. Yeah,
I mean, I know that's the question, but I guess I'm saying,
especially the things I've been involved in and done. I sat on the Elway board for his golf tournament for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years and worked on it, and the parties would come to that. And no, I'm not answering too many questions.
So do you think
I did do waterfalls with oh God help me out, the Bills quarterback
Jim Kelly?
Jim Kelly. Mark Cooper and I, waterfalls. You get 4 different color martinis, and you put them where they come down to each other, and they were all different colors. And then you start pouring them down, and then.
This is rich guy beer stand.
The trick is not to get the colored martinis on your shirt.
On your white shirt, sure.
And it's just crazy times.
Because there's no camera phone, so obviously no one can get video of you and Jim Kelly drinking gin.
I'm just glad without it. But Jim Kelly is a great guy, and he was just in studio not long ago. About 10 months ago, I think he was in town and
speaking of in studio with you, one of the things I wanted to ask you about tonight is Wade Phillips, and whether you can give us a little bit of insight as to what actually happened and why he was allowed to depart the Broncos.
Well, Colin, we're just at the beginning of the first.
More about that after the break.
We're going to have to take.
I know as much about that as anybody.
Oh,
I know.
Excellent. Well, that's a good tease.
I said that you got mad at me. I said, Wade, he's lying to you.
Well, we're going to come back in the second quarter, and we're going to.
That's a good segue.
It's a great segue. That's what he started into it, and I said, hold on. Let's take a quick break, and we'll get right back to that right after this.
Should we call Wade?
Call him up.
Wade came on my show last week.
I know he did. I know. I follow you on that. What's it called? The Twitter.
That's what it's called. Well, just before that show, that was the day they traded for Flacco, and I had people calling me wanting to be on the show. It was completely booked, and all of a sudden I got a text from Wade. Can we talk today? I'm like, well, hell yeah.
Can't say no to him.
Get this saved.
I saw you doing the tweets about the Grateful Dead. So,
Yeah.
Grateful Dead kind of ish song right there.
That sounded like Dylan.
It was Dylan.
I was going to say.
The Grateful Dead used to cover that song all the time.
You know, like the Beatles.
I'm replying to a text from Reno Notaro right now.
The Beatles, the Grateful Dead.
Reno's leaving. That makes me sad.
That makes me sad too.
Just love Dylan.
Yeah.
Like they worship him,
I wish more people
and there's
got
good reason
Reno.
why.
Sure.
Because he's that
really,
good.
I mean, he really
But it's
has
funny
that,
because like
that deep, and he never gets out of
if
character.
Ringo Starr was on,
You know, he
like,
won't get
was
out
on
of character
Stern, he
to
was
explain
like,
what he's
"Oh yeah, I
talking
went and saw Dylan last night."
You really
He's like,
gotta
is that really good?
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh my god!" He goes, "We're going
We
back
know, right?
and see it again."
Yeah,
It's
no, I
just
don't
they
understand
worship him. Neil Young just.
I've always been a big supporter of him.
Yeah, I'm bummed that he's leaving too. I told him, it's not too late to leave her and just stay here and drink with me once every couple of weeks.
Is he leaving because of her?
Oh yeah.
When's he leaving?
Soon, like a week. They just closed on the house. Yeah, a
He's
week,
going
maybe
to,
2 weeks.
like,
Oh no,
Maine?
they gotta. Yeah, he's going to Portland, man. They already bought a house. It's fucking huge. It's huge.
Does she come for money?
They both do.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna go take a leak.
Take a leak. We'll get back into it. I'm going to show everyone the
I got questions.
fantasy baseball trophy that belongs to Scott. Normally, I'd wait to give it out to the next, beginning of the
I'm
next
gonna get
season.
myself in trouble
But,
here, but
Scott
it's
won last
nothing
year,
I
so
hadn't
he
said
gets it.
before though.
He gets to keep it.
And the year before, John.
The year before. No, you're not a three-peater.
That's what
Two.
that's what this
Yeah, you
podcast
choose.
is.
The year before. That's not it. You won it this past year and the year before. Yeah, so you already deserve to possess it. So it just didn't exist.
If I accidentally delete, are you the tech guy?
A little bit.
If I accidentally delete a thread on my cell phone from a conversation that goes back years,
Uh-huh.
and I have no idea why or how I deleted it, but I did.
Uh-huh.
Can I get it back?
Text or Twitter?
Text.
Huh?
Text or like a
Text.
like a regular old text message?
I know on iPhone you
I
can.
deleted about 5 years of Wade Phillips text.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Even the night that he got hired and the day that he got fired or didn't get signed, he signed with all of those. I was involved in all of that.
Is it an iPhone or is it an Android?
iPhone.
I'm almost positive. I think
I'll get
Like-
Benjamin Hockman or no, Benjamin Albright on it.
if
Yeah,
he were to
knows.
text you, I think all of your former texts would then show up. I believe that's how that works.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
true.
I'll just ask Wade to send them to me. He'll go, no.
No, if he sends you any text, just say,
Yeah, if
hey,
he sends you a text, because if I have a text that's both him and Colin, and I had deleted it, and then they do the same thread again, that'll pop up and everything will be
and
there,
everything
right?
will be there. Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a way to read.
Or if you had,
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
We should get Cat
He
Brown
texted me
on.
the other day, so let's look at it.
See if it showed up.
And yeah, the rest of it should be there then. I think.
But you might be able to. It might be like sitting somewhere, like in a deleted file.
Maybe. I know, like I could delete something on my iPhone, and then I'll go to my iPad, and then it's all still there. Or I go on my iMac, whatever, stuff.
We might want to talk a little bit about Masai Ujiri and when he left.
Yeah, I would love to.
I'm just giving you ideas of stuff that,
we'll,
that I
take,
know about.
we'll take those ideas. Ooh, maybe I should probably enter. Ooh, I don't know. I was gonna put some Grateful Dead.
So, I like the Grateful Dead.
I was. There's a point where I was gonna get in there, and I'm just like, I don't got time.
I
I
like the Grateful Dead.
So you and who are you having a discussion with?
There's a couple people in there.
Shoot.
Like I heard a
Who are
lot
you
of.
talking- who are you talking about?
Zach Fogg was in there.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, fuck. That was.
Zach Fogg was exploring new music, so he was,
Is he getting out of the whole Nordic death metal scene, or?
I think he's still the operatic metal scene. Yeah, I think he still
I think
likes that.
it's like the black metal.
Yeah,
the
but he
Nordic
likes this
stuff, right?
very operatic, like very like like very like kind of weird, like Norwegian, like it's like it's
Yeah, Norwegian stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but he likes
Scandinavian
Scandinavian shit. But he likes this stuff that's like real, like, and I say
Yeah, my Wade texts only go back to February 7th.
I'm not sure yet.
I even wrote to him. I said, somehow I deleted my tweet with you.
I'll ask Captain Bronco. He'll know.
Yeah, he might know.
He might know. So, but yeah, he's broadened his horizons, and he said, "I'm gonna listen to some Grateful Dead." He was listening to Joy
Are there
Division.
commercials going on?
Like
right
Joy Division. So
now? We just took a break.
We're just on the
We're still on.
internet.
oh yeah, we're
Kind of.
still on here.
We're on
but,
YouTube.
but as far as the podcasts go, we're gonna.
I'm about to do a read as we come back.
Well,
and then
we'll
questions.
slice it all.
It used to say how many people were watching. It doesn't say it anymore.
It's because there's no.
No one
there is.
watching.
I know there's people watching.
I know Snyder's watching.
Yeah. So there's
Okay.
at least a couple. Hold on.
So I've got a
Take
question.
this.
I've got to read and then questions.
2 seconds. 2 minutes.
2 and 2.
Need a bathroom up here.
That's next.
You do.
I just want to. I can't wait to call Denver and set up and get those permits. Pull those permits. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Are you gonna have to with the
Dude, $9,000. This morning, my fucking tenant calls me.
Oh, yeah.
The bathtub's gurgling and the toilet won't flush. All right, call the fucking plumber. Plumber calls me, goes, "We got a situation here, sir. We got a problem." And I'm like, "Listen,
So what was the problem? What would happen?
the sewer pipe between my back fence and the city sewer, it's like a 4-foot section of pipe, 18 feet down, collapsed.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it sucks.
Yeah.
And we already had the sewer line in our backyard replaced to the tune of $12,000 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's not fun.
It sucks.
When we sold our house, they wanted us to replace it. And we said, no. I said, okay. It's amazing. Selling the house is so incredible in Denver. It's the greatest thing. They want us to replace the roof. We said, nope. Replace the sewer. Nope.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Reno just sold a place in the Highlands. It was on the market for 32 hours. 32 hours.
Ours never made it to market. Yeah, that's how it goes now.
So, Gil, the next feature is what I call the questions. And at the end of the questions, there's a tagline, and then Scott will play music after the tagline. So we're going to go a read, then the questions, Yo, and then the music.
All right.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Okay.
I need a lung full of air for this fucker. La 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 la. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck upchucked wood.
I'm ready. You guys ready?
Yep.
Hold on. Let me do this.
How about them Rockies?
They're coming. It's
I
coming.
know.
They're going to be at least second or maybe third place in the division. It's awesome.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
They'll be first.
Hey, guys. Check out bsndenver.com. Oh, my gosh. The locker is stocked full now with awesome products, unique from D-Line Co. You got to check this stuff out. You're going to order some from bsnlocker.com. And while you're at it, subscribe to the best local sports coverage you're going to find. They got reporters everywhere. They got guys at spring training. They've got guys down at Pepsi Center. They're working hard, and for very, very little money, you'll be amazed at how inexpensive it is. And if you get a BSN Denver tattoo, it's free for life. So, bsndenver.com, let them know the South Stand sent you. Did Donald Trump really declare a national emergency over the Flacco trade?
Mm-hmm.
Did John Elway make a bold move by moving on from Case Keenum in favor of that other Case Keenum? Will the Broncos be in fine shape at quarterback so long as every other team in the division signs Raheem Moore? I'm just going to wait for you guys to laugh. Fuck you all. If the Nuggets are able to sign Anthony Davis in the wake of the Flacco trade, will Denver become America's eyebrow capital? Was Team LeBron able to overcome a large halftime deficit to win the NBA All-Star game thanks to Mike Malone's brilliant strategic mind?
Yeah, Mike Malone had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, a lot. With Nikola Jokic on the floor, did other NBA All-Stars feel like they were in a live-action remake of Space Jam? How perfect is it that Denver finally got a new superstar, and he just happens to be the biggest, goofiest, most awkward tub of goo in the entire NBA? Is it a foregone conclusion that Jussie Smollett will land with the Patriots? Will Colin Kaepernick contribute part of his massive collusion settlement to the NFL to help pay for the wall? You guys are intentionally not laughing at this point.
You need to write some better material.
This is awesome shit. Could one say that the NFL took a cap hit? Was rolling his car on Auraria Parkway about the 10th worst way Demaryius Thomas ever ended a drive in Denver?
Ooh, not bad. That's very good.
As long as surgeons have to open Vic Lombardi up to remove his cancerous prostate, should they also dig out that long dormant pituitary gland?
Too soon.
Wow. Just exactly soon enough. Will Vic have to punch cancer in its ugly face since his legs aren't long enough to kick his ass? You have questions. We have answers. SouthStandsDenver.com, Colorado's finest internet sports talk since 1971.
It's for you, Colin. You ready?
J. Cole.
I don't know who this is. It's the Nuggets.
Oh! Whole squad ready!
Whole squad ready.
Whole squad
Whole
ready!
squad ready.
I can see my daughter right now saying, Dad, don't. Dad, don't. Just don't.
Embarrassing your children.
This is the best part. Well, Nuggets games are so much fun. I know.
Oh, my God, they're a blast.
They're
And I always scream, whole squad ready at the top of my lungs, and my daughter's like, oh, God. Dad, stop.
I haven't been to a Nuggets game in years. No one ever invites me.
Next game, want to go? Sunday, want to go?
Can't go.
Tuesday, want to go?
Busy.
Can't
Thursday,
go.
want to go?
Can't go.
I'm busy. Those are all. They start at times I can't make.
I know.
No, so,
But 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Ooh. Yeah, I got a game sometime.
Ooh, that's almost not past my bedtime.
Yeah, shit.
But then Tuesday and Thursday they start at 8:30, and that's a problem. That's
Yeah, that
I
is
really
a
late.
problem.
do not do 8:30 games.
I know.
That's because of TNT and ESPN.
That's because they're good. They're being picked up.
Well, because they got to get their East Coast teams in early, and then they got to throw everyone a bone with somebody out west.
You see, the Rockies picked up the whole squad ready thing.
No,
The
they didn't.
The spring training also has full squad ready.
Oh, my God.
I know.
All right, it's commonality. It's commonality. It's okay.
We're getting into that. We're moving in. We're going to be moving into Little Rockies talk a little later. We got plenty of Broncos talk to get into. What I wanted to talk to Gil about. This kind of goes back to how things have changed. How things have changed with sports writers, with media people in town. I always see you chatting with Nikki Jabvala on Twitter.
And on the radio,
She
too.
always seemed to be bumped by your Friday, your Red Shirt Friday to honor the troops, because usually you'd show some nice looking women with big cans.
Well, she kind of tongue in cheek said, I said, what are you looking at? I said, I'm just watching you. But she has no real problem with that.
She kind of was giving.
Friday, if I don't put them up, people say, "Where's your phone? Where's your phone?"
Gil, let me say, when you had the one with Scarlett Johansson recently, I about got an accident because I had it up on my phone in my truck and I kept looking at it. I have to admit, I had to watch the road.
The hours he spent holding up his phone with one hand.
So, but my point is that you've got all these great female sports writers and media people, and that wasn't the case 30 years ago.
No,
That's
it wasn't.
changed a lot.
I've actually worked a lot with women trying to help get women into doing talk
And
radio.
why aren't there radio? I mean, the Fan does not have one woman at the entire station. It's a massive station. It's a top 25 station in the U.S. They don't have a single woman. It blows me away. It boggles my mind. Why wouldn't you have somebody hot? I mean, so let's say
right there.
I'm such a jackass,
Oh
right?
my God.
The patriarch.
Hold on.
Have somebody hot who's also good. Like Robin Carlin would be perfect at a station like that.
Well, who's the hottest
Spread
guy?
God,
Who's the
I
hottest
think
guy?
she's in Atlanta now.
She's in Houston working with Sean Salisbury.
No, that's all over.
That's over.
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus.
Oh, you haven't kept
Bring her
up.
back.
Here,
Bring her back.
let me
That's been over.
let
She
me-
visited. She was in town visiting about 6 weeks ago.
Let me throw this out to you. Of the 4 major Denver sports teams, 3 of them have women working with the broadcast. Can you tell me the one that doesn't?
I can.
Take a wild guess.
The Broncos.
It's the Rockies. Yeah, of course. So the Rockies, they got Jenny Cavnar, and then what's her name?
It was very good.
Yeah, it's excellent. She's excellent.
Katie Wingy.
Katie Wingy.
Katie
for the
Wingy
Nuggets.
kicks ass. She's
Lauren
so
Gardner
fucking good.
is well involved with the
She's good too,
Avalanche.
yeah.
She's very good. Broncos. Now, granted, the Broncos don't
Lauren's
have
good.
TV.
Lauren really does good commercials. She's got a great voice.
Gardner, she's awesome. She's fantastic. Dave, maybe that's the one who hasn't been here the longest. Maybe now that's the longest gap. For
Yeah,
being
it's-
here.
She actually was the board op on my show about 10 or 12 years ago.
Lauren Gardner
Yeah.
was? Oh my
She was with
God.
my last sports.
How did you ever look down at the paper in
I
front of you?
But so they've all got these great.
Renee Herlocker was there at that time too.
Man.
I know that name. They all have women working with the broadcast. The Broncos, now, to be fair, they don't have a TV thing because that's all nationally done. But they might have an ex-cheerleader doing something on the news. So
They
things,
do, but it's Channel 4 that hired.
yeah, but the things have changed considerably. So was it 30 years ago, was it just like a super male dominated thing that women couldn't even crack into? Or was it just there was no women that were even going to be in that realm?
Well, it kind of drives me crazy because they don't really allow women in the booth.
Yeah,
A woman can now do sideline reporting,
sure.
and now it's physically impossible for a man to do sideline reporting.
Jenny did
Because they
some
She-
booth.
She did. She got in the booth last year and called the game. So that was terrific. That was a big step. And I'm sure Drew was not all that happy to give up a game. For
Tough
her.
shit.
She did a nice job. She had one of the best calls when they
Fire up the fountains!
fire out the fountains. That was a great call.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I mean, I don't know how long she done. I worked a lot with Drew. I did AAA games with Drew and Earth down at Sky Sox. We did a lot of TV games down there.
I was the tailgater. I was the Sky Sox tailgater for an entire summer. I used to work Sky Sox games. I dressed up in an alligator costume, and the shoes didn't fit, so I had to stick my toes out over the top.
Wow, we're learning something new.
Yeah, I was the Sky Sox tailgater.
But
I walked around the parking lot.
But Jenny did a great job. She's done radio and TV, and she's fantastic. And everyone, is like, oh, bring her in. She's better than what they have. There's always a thing. There was some women that did some NFL football games, and people were like, oh, I can't stand her voice. And it's just like,
They were so good. They were great. I loved it.
That kind of mentality is over,
isn't it?
And you got Doris Burke on the national call with ESPN. She does an amazing job.
Yeah.
I love it. I really, truly do. I enjoy female voices in my sports. I want more. More.
There's
I kind of discovered Ashley Douglas, who writes for the Denver Stiffs. Now I got her there, and she comes on my show like once a week. She's out of the Springs, really good NBA writer and knowledgeable NBA. So she comes on my show at least.
I'm not
once a week.
familiar with Ashley's work, so
Yeah.
I will look into that.
She's on Denver Stiffs.
Is she hot?
She's nice.
Trust me. There's the women out there know, leaving you out of it, know more about sports than this brain trust combined. I'm sure. So
That includes me.
that includes you too. I didn't want to speak for you, but I think it's great, and it's a different perspective, and they all know what they're talking about. And I just hate that whole thing of like, people just discount them for it. And I think more and more you're going to see them moving into it. And I think it's fantastic. And I think they should be given more and more and more. I want to hear them on the broadcast.
And I know I go over the top about Katie Wingy on Twitter, and I talk about her all the time. But
Has she followed you yet?
She did, and then she didn't. So I must have fucked up. She did, and then she didn't. But she is absolutely brilliant. And we've had some people at altitude over the years, I won't mention any names like Allie Stearns, who were not very good and just kind of couldn't even say players' names and stuff. And then I see Katie Wingy, who's breaking the game down because she played the game and she knows the game.
Allie Stern was like window dressing.
She was a bikini car wash
She was not
sideline
there
reporter.
to give analysis.
She couldn't even pronounce the player's name.
Katie,
bad.
listen, Katie Wingy was on the radio broadcast one night
She
when I was
is
driving
awesome.
home, and she was fantastic.
She's
and I was
awesome.
like, man, she knows her shit.
And I'm absolutely bowled over by her and the quality of her call and the quality of her interviews post game when she's talking to the players and she asks them real shit and she doesn't sit there and vaguely nod at them. It's
So are we just
so good.
So are we just waiting for most of these morons who can't take a woman being in this position? Are we just waiting for them to die off?
I've heard it said that guys don't want to listen to women on sports talk radio. I've heard that said.
Fuck, man, if
It's not true. I do.
If they know what they're talking about, and most of all the women in town here,
I like
writers,
the sound of a woman's voice. Period.
I know you do, but I'm saying they know more than I do, and that's all I need. And I would appreciate it. I almost want to hear a woman's voice more than a man's because I'm so used to a man telling me what fucking I already know, or like talking sports. Having that different voice, even just the sound of it, just appeals to me.
I agree, and I think it's probably totally Freudian, but I support you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you real quick
Don't kill me.
about prostate cancer, Gil. You've been through it,
Yeah.
and Vic's about to go through it.
Vic and I traded texts this morning. We're gonna have lunch very soon, and there's a lot of parallels there. He did not. Have you ever seen the thing they did on me?
I did. I watched
Yeah.
it today.
Okay, they did a really nice job at catchitintime.com, and And so I put that up usually in June.
I scheduled an appointment, by the way, with my primary
Thank you.
today to get
I've
a
had several
screening.
people say that they're setting up a meeting.
I can save you $25 if you know what I mean.
So, but you know, I think most people are talking to Vic about getting through the surgery and getting all the thing. I truly mean this. I want to talk to Vic about living with prostate cancer because it's with you forever. Other than my third wife, it's the worst thing ever happened. She's worse than cancer.
Damn.
But it's a very treatable one.
Unlike a third wife.
Yeah, the third wife is not treatable whatsoever.
No.
There's not many things you can do. For
That was a good line.
Yeah. But it's a very treatable form of cancer. It's one of the. If
Well,
there's a
I
better
have
one to have.
92%.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I saw it today. I looked it up. I Googled it.
And then all of a sudden, you know, here's what happened. The doctor called, and you heard it today, but most of the people listen to it. The doctor called. I'd gone through this biopsy, and with the VA, and they sent me a thing said you're clear, and I said okay, great. 3 weeks later, a doctor called and said, you know, I was having a slow day. I went back and looked at the biopsies that the computer spit out. He said I went back and put them under the microscope. Yeah, you're a little bit close. Come on back in. Damn. So I had to wait like 6 weeks for the biopsy to heal because that's pretty intrusive, by the way. And then I went back, and then like 3 weeks later, the doctor called. I'm writing a magazine piece or something that I have him on speakerphone. This is Dr. Vinny Boomba or whatever it was, and he said I'm calling about your biopsy. And he said, well, we just went through your biopsy and it's positive. I said, okay, great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Positive's good.
Yeah. And then he said, no, that means you have cancer. Who would have thought? Who would have made that up? Why did they call where you go to fly out a terminal? You know, why? Who makes up these words? So I was like, damn. I mean, I can swear. I said fuck 20 times in a row onto my speakerphone. I was just mad. It was like, So I went through that, and it was interesting. I had some options, and I was talking to my doctor. I was kind of putting stuff off because I caught it early because I was doing it every year. And then all of a sudden he said to me, we're in a meeting. He says, "We're talking about life alternatives, but we got to now start talking about survival. You have a 92% chance. If there were 100 people in this room, 8 people are not coming out." That's a true story. And then Vic caught it. Vic caught his after I caught mine. So he has less options than I did. But it's life after prostate cancer that you really kind of have to deal with that I really want to discuss with him. And I've discussed it with
do you
a
think
lot
he'll
of
be able to play basketball at the DAC?
Yes. That won't be. Oh, no, you're not limited to anything like that. I've talked to a lot of veterans that have gone through it. I've volunteered and done some of that. I'm talking about prostate cancer and those types of things.
You know, I've heard eating a lot of hot food, like hot peppers, it decreases your chance of getting prostate cancer.
Oh, well, you're in good shape based on your gas. So,
absolutely.
But I think that on the topic of Vic Lombardi and Gil, you are beloved by all, make no doubt about it, and I'm certainly a fan. Vic Lombardi has a very special place in among Denver sports fans. I think he means a lot to a lot of people.
He replaced Ron Zappolo as the top sports guy.
I think so. I think he's got an Irv Brown-like presence in this marketplace.
That TV market, all of that, he replaced. No one replaced Irv Brown. It really hasn't. I mean,
or ever will.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Vic replaced Ron Zappolo, who was the absolute top guy in the market, and Vic just approaches things just a little bit different.
He's a pro.
Yeah,
he's a pro, and one thing that I think people appreciate about Vic Lombardi is that he is very sincere. He shares himself, he shares his family, his experience, and he doesn't consider himself above the fray. He's one of us.
Yeah,
absolutely. Got to get into the second half now. It's good stuff.
Oh, Gil gets to learn about sports now.
That's right. Well, he's done.
I'm hoping.
Now he probably did sports when he was in before.
We'll see.
Well, maybe we fed it. I don't know. Maybe we fed it in
I don't
later.
know. I wasn't here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been so long, Gil, but we're glad to have you. We're rolling along. I'm sure we'll go over time. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Is there another one of these in there?
Oh, yeah.
I'll get it.
No, I got it.
I've got an answer for you about your text.
About what?
But your text. Okay. You can only do it if it was backed up through iCloud.
No.
No? Okay. So if you didn't have it backed up, then you
Accidentally
SOL.
deleted like 5 or 6 years of text with Wade Phillips
Oh no.
just last week.
Are you on an Apple phone?
I have an iPhone. Yeah.
I would go to an Apple store.
I just asked Captain Bronco, dude.
Oh, he works at the. He works.
It used to
What
automatically.
he knows all about.
Apple used to automatically back everything you had up on their website, but then it got too big and they stopped doing it. You have to physically back it up.
That's a
What's
drag.
Backing up.
Backing up his. He lost his entire string of
That's
text
that thing.
messages.
Captain Bronco answered.
You did? How does it?
If it's not backed up to the iCloud, you can't get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
that's a thing.
because photos have a recently deleted file
Mm-hmm.
and text do not.
Okay.
So
And see, on an Android, everything's Google based, and you can find it all.
So can they?
What's that?
So can they?
I know.
Google.
I know.
yeah, Google can do
I
it.
know, but I don't care.
That's good. I'm glad you don't care. I do. I'm a little weirded out by Google.
I'm not. You know what's weird though is if I say an address or someone tells me an address in a voicemail and I start typing it in, it'll pop up in a place I've never been before. But if it's only spoken, it's not there. But if it's either written somewhere or it's spoken into the phone, it will come up as a suggestion. A place I've never been before, never typed in. So they've got it somehow where they're hearing an address and it's some sort of algorithm is picking it
They're
up.
taking the voice and putting it to text.
I
Yes.
have to apologize earlier when I said to John, come here.
Oh,
When I obviously recognized you when I got, for some reason, I thought Reed Marks.
oh,
And I'm like, and it's not even John, but I mean, when I saw John Reedy, we haven't seen each other, talk to each other much of that. And so that way I was like, okay, Reed Marks.
no worries. I'm probably more handsome than Reed Marks. I'd like to think so. So I hope he.
I like
he
Reed
hears
Marks.
this. I do too.
Yeah.
Reed's a really good guy.
John Reed D. Marks.
Yeah.
So that's-
There you go.
I get it.
Reed Reedy.
Yeah. Hear all that. So my father-in-law recently was in the hospital. He had a cyst in his stomach,
Ah.
and he had a CAT scan, and was told that he had cancer.
Ah.
And they got the biopsy back, and he did not.
That's fucking hell yeah. That's a
Oh,
double fist
But
pump.
what the heck, you know? Like, dude, you got cancer.
That's why you gotta get all
I mean,
sorts of opinions.
It's like
You gotta
we're
pursue
planning
it.
His funeral for a couple
Yeah.
days, and all of a sudden, like, wow, what? Just traumatic. So that was no good.
Who?
My father-in-law, he had a cyst in his stomach, and
Ugh.
he was bleeding, internal bleeding. It's a
Ugh.
CAT scan.
That shit's sketchy because once they cut all this open, it's hard to get it to stitch back together.
Well, he hasn't had that surgery yet, but when they did the CAT scan, the doctor came in, and we were all there waiting for him, like some sort of reassurance. And the doc comes in and says, "Well, it looks like you have cancer." And I was going through the whole thing, and then they got the biopsy back, and he did not.
Oh,
Well,
but
just-
still assists.
Yeah. So
It's
scary stuff.
abdominal surgeries in older men are really problematic because getting the cavity to seal up again is very tricky.
Woody is suffering right now from umbilical hernia operation he went through, and he just can't get past it.
Just can't get it to seal up, right?
Yeah, it's just I went through a similar umbilical hernia about 10 years ago. Matter of fact, he drove me to the hospital to get it done, but he's really struggled with it.
What I've
We're all on
discovered-
the precipice of this age.
Well, no,
where
see-
these things start to happen.
So what I've discovered, and
I mean, this
is what you probably have experienced. So all of a sudden, we've had all these people that have died in their mid to late 40s, and so I'm like, oh, so this is where everyone who basically probably didn't take good care of themselves die, and then maybe there's a little bit of a gap,
and then in their late 60s
or like maybe late 50s, and then some of that stuff starts happening. And then you might have another gap, and then you get like a little bit later.
just like earlier in our lives, our friends were getting married one by one, and then they had their first child one by one. It's crazy.
That's
dude.
happier than the death, I think.
Right now,
Better.
I am caught at an interesting precipice in life because my daughter is 12 and a half. And like on Monday, she went and played Barbies with a girl at her house. And then the next day, she's listening to a rap album where I have to go, honey, I can't let you listen to that. and it's just like at any moment, one morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have a young woman living in my house. I have a little girl today,
Oh yeah.
and I'm going to have a young woman living in my house within the next 12 months.
Yeah.
It's right there.
That'll happen real quick. My son's older than Peyton Manning. So that'll happen to you real quick.
I follow your son on Instagram.
Oh,
Wiley Photo. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's if you have Hulu.
No.
Oh, okay. That show, it's Pen 15, Pen 15, or whatever
Is that
it is. Oh, it's great. And that's about they're 13-year-olds. They're played by women in their 30s, but they look like they're like 13, just because of the way they dress and their hair. But that you should try to watch it if you can, because that's going to be your life probably.
It is. And she's a total fucking fashion model, fucking popular kid. Oh god.
Oh,
That's
that's
better.
not these
Too
girls.
now.
These
Good
girls
stuff.
are popular. But anyway. All right. We got something to talk about?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with a read, and then we're gonna go with sports. And Gil, we play this wacky song called Sports, and the only lyric is the word sports, and we shout sports along with the performers. So that's how that works.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do a read
We'll get into
first.
Sports.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All the mics
Sure.
up. You ready?
The longest breaks than I've ever been.
It's the podcast. We edited this down. We can take as long as we want.
Mhm.
All right. Sportique Scooters is where scooters come from, and it has been since 1998. And if you want to get into the game on opening day, there's no better way than on a scooter from Sportique. Right there in the shadow of downtown at 160 South Broadway with a nice 50cc machine from Sportique. You don't need a motorcycle driver's license. You don't even need a license plate. And you can park that thing at a bike rack. At a bike rack in front of Coors Field on opening day. Sportique is where scooters come from. And please, when you visit, tell them the South Stand sent you. It's time for sports now! Woo! I
want the sports!
I'm ready! I'm ready!
Come on! Let's do this! Ready, go! One, two, three, four!
Sports!
Woo!
Sports!
Yeah!
Sports!
Sports! Sports!
Sports! Sports! Sports! Yeah!
Sports! Oh, wow. That was good.
We had Gil Whiteley croaking sports on
Sports.
our show, on our
Yeah,
podcast.
croak's probably the best word has ever been to describe it.
I was just thinking, it's the culmination. It's just now we've come so far from sports journalism in newspapers to radio. Now here we are podcasting, and it's future now. The past meets the future. You know what I'm saying?
If Gil Whiteley were to walk into a station today in 2019, and sit down with the program director and start to speak, would that man ever in a million years let this man on the air?
Yes.
I love it. I mean,
now my voice is recognizable.
absolutely. No,
So
absolutely.
if you're going through the channel, you go, oh, there's Gil. I mean, and that's probably why I'm still doing what I'm doing 32 years later.
When I listen to the NHL broadcast on satellite radio, and you listen to all the different teams, and you get the home broadcasters whenever. There's some very unique voices, and there's guys who sound like they've been doing it for a long time, and they have some pretty unique.
They want people to sound like you, like me, a woman's voice. They want to be able to distinguish between the voices. So yes,
Connor McGahee, is that his name? Connor McGahee.
Yeah, Connor
that does
McGahee.
the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Man,
He's doing a pretty good job.
great voice, real good voice, man. Very distinct, and it's like it doesn't blend in. My voice, I don't have a good voice. My voice blends in. It sucks. But there's good
Well,
voice.
I disagree. I
But
love your
thank
voice.
you. I appreciate it. You've been my biggest fan.
warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, thank you. Gil has a unique voice. Reno has a unique voice. Nate Kreckman has a good voice. I think if there's not something to it, it gets lost, and you just kind of think, it's just another dude just talking about the same old shit.
Yeah, Brandon Stokely.
3 times a week, I get recognized by my voice. I'll be talking and go, radio guy.
I know you.
You know what? When Alan Roach was on Howard Stern recently, he was on there a couple weeks ago, and they just had him on for whatever reason, and he told them, he goes, I have trouble in restaurants because I start talking and people are like turn around and look at me, and it was an interesting interview, and it was interesting to hear.
I bumped Roach in for his very first news break ever on KOA.
Oh, did you really?
I sure did. Yeah.
Nice.
He was subbing in for Kathy Walker. Kathy Walker.
Not really.
You guys don't remember these things?
Was she the weather girl with 2 vaginas?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Wow.
No.
That was a
But
thing.
he just started, and he was telling me, "Hey, I just got her from him. He's got a super bear." I'm like, "Dude, your voice is amazing. You just got there from San Francisco." But I bumped him in for
I was doing afternoon drive on KNUS, and the show leading into me was a national show, and it was Rush Limbaugh. Before he went to KOA, and Rush Limbaugh cut about 5 spots. Hey, coming up next, go away. I wish I would have saved those spots.
Oh my God, yeah.
Rush Limbaugh cut spots to promote my show.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
I wish I'd have kept them.
That is a crazy, crazy story. So we teased coming into this second half the Wade Phillips story. So what?
Wade Phillips saga.
The Wade Phillips saga. I know, Gil, a lot of Broncos fans that I communicate with on Twitter consider the loss of Wade Phillips greater even than the loss of Vance Joseph.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
The disappearance of Wade Phillips, I believe, is a mystery cloaked in a puzzle, and I wonder if you can provide any insight for us and our listeners as to why Wade Phillips is no longer with this organization, because I believe he's the uncontested king of defensive coordinators.
I agree, and he did an unbelievably good job here. And by the way, he was just in the Super Bowl and held Tom Brady to 1 touchdown.
Yep.
What happened, and it's a simple matter of Wade Phillips got too much credit for winning the Super Bowl. John didn't like it. John thought he should have gotten the credit for building that defense.
Wade Phillips obviously won the Super Bowl.
Well, and that's the way it went down. That's why I lost all my Wade text. Wade said to me, if Vance Joseph gets the job, Vance had told him, and John told him that Vance Joseph could hire anybody he wanted. And Vance said, if I get this job, told Wade, that you'll be my defensive coordinator. And I said, that's not going to happen, Wade. He said, what are you talking about? I said, that's not going to happen. I already know you're not out. You are out. Oh, that's not true. He said, John wouldn't lie to me. I said, he's lying. Wade got mad at me and didn't talk to me for about 3 days.
Now, how did you know?
Because I know things.
Okay.
And he sent me a text like 3 days later. He said, you're absolutely right. And because Van Joseph, they would not allow Van Joseph to hire him.
Is that because the Vance was just basically they were going to make decisions for him?
Yeah, Vance was a puppet.
Yeah.
Vance was a waste of time. John really wanted to fire John Fox after the Super Bowl they lost.
Yes.
He waited an extra year. He waited an extra year to fire Van Joseph. He wanted to fire him last year. And he wanted to do that. So he's waited an extra year on both times.
Is that Elway's decision, though, or is that
yes
pushback from Ellis?
No, those were John's decisions.
So what you're telling me is that John Elway can't make a decision in a timely manner. Because if he's waiting an extra year to make these obvious decisions that he knows he needs to make,
why do you and I know that Van Joseph should have gone, not this year, but last year, and he doesn't know? Why?
Because
why can't we?
Maybe he doesn't have the confidence of leadership. Maybe he's kind of a pussy when it comes to this kind of thing.
Well, no, because they
I am a believer in John Elway, but he has struggled with that. He struggles with, in my own mind, I think he struggles with making the decisions that will not sit well, which is why, through Mike Klitsch, who's a friend of mine, but I am critical of Mike Klitsch as I'm with anybody. And you guys over the years have been critical of me, and I know all of that. That's no big deal. We're big boys, as you sent me a text one time.
we're not critical.
They
of you.
leak-
What are you talking about?
Trust me, they use Mike Klitsch to float rumors out there
Sure.
to see.
Yeah.
To see,
Trial
And everyone
there
does
you go.
this.
to see what's on there. Mike, I'm sorry, but they absolutely abuse you. And
Everyone
every
does
now and then
But I think he
I
knows
say
that,
something
right?
negative. I say something negative about John Elway. I took Wade's side in the Elway Wade thing. I took Wade's side 100%. And I got calls from everybody over there, including, John's not really, truth is what the truth is. And I didn't back off any of that.
This is a headline from thebiglead.com, which is run by Clay Travis, a national site, regarding Klitsch. Denver reporter working hard to put positive spin on Flacco trade. This is the
my
headline.
God, did you see the stuff he put up?
Oh, it was like a barrage of embarrassment.
He wrote it, Mike, bless you, Mike, I love you, you know it. He wrote, hey, what a great fit. There's not even a number 5 on the Broncos. He fits right into that. He made like that was a positive that he didn't have to take someone's jersey.
Well, he's
What?
6'5", right? That's the fit.
Well, what I don't get about that, and we're diverging off it a little bit, but now that you bring
It's a
it
good
up,
subject.
it's a good subject. It's so obvious because there's obvious other people who can go. They can kind of go like, "Oh, Flacco, well, okay," and they can report the facts and as they're supposed to do. But when you put that much spin on it, everybody knows that is not coming from that person. It is coming from the Broncos.
There's some irony here. The Flacco, I think Joe Flacco is an improvement.
Yeah,
I think he's
of course he is.
2 weeks
Case
earlier,
Keenum
what was
sucks
the buzzword?
balls.
What was the buzzword 3 weeks ago? I think Joe Flacco wasn't enough improvement. I think it was life by inches rather than
Death by inches. Here's the thing.
It's a
Life by centimeters.
This team needs to embrace the process the way the Philadelphia 76ers and the Cleveland Browns did. They need to suck for a while and accumulate draft picks. And adding a Flacco is just making sure that you win 7 games again.
Let me take this. Let me take this another
With
direction.
Fangio and Flacco, I think Flacco's going to be good for a game, and I think Fangio better be good for a game, or else because Munchak has to improve that offensive line, or it's all moot.
I think with the coaching decisions, they have obviously put themselves in a good position. But if we want, let's take a step back. Fire Festival. Seen the Fire Festival documentaries? Gil, you know what the Fire Festival is?
That's the thing in the island.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched both of those.
Yes. So
They were right up to the day before. They were like, okay, we're going to make this work.
No, you are.
And the guy was going, hey,
I kind of look at some of these guys as like the Fire Festival people, and they're like, "This has got to work. We're doing this. We're throwing money at this. We got Joe Flacco," and they keep throwing shit against the wall, hoping it sticks. And I think that they get lucky sometimes. Most times it fails miserably. And I think that's the attitude, is that they're just kind of like, we got to make it work. It's got to work. Let's just go with it, and then we'll hope it all pans out. That kind of seems like their philosophy over the last couple of years. Oh, get Case Keenum. Oh, it didn't work out. Get Joe Flacco. And they're just going to try everything possible, and it just doesn't.
John won't stop trying, and John, I believe John with 10 will draft the kid out of Missouri. He'll draft
Lock.
Oh, you think he's going to?
Yeah.
At 10. Okay. Interesting. All right, you heard it here, folks.
The Flacco deal, they can cut Flacco next year and not have any dead money. Zero dead money.
Oh, it's a great deal financially. It's fine. And like you said, it's an improvement.
But it's Joe Flacco, the one guy who had the one throw against our
Pretty much
defense.
the most hated guy other than Phillip Rivers.
I know. You
He's not even that hated because
Yeah.
we know he sucks. We're just like,
this
it's
is
Joe Flacco. He got lucky.
at Raheem Moore, right?
But he did break our hearts. He broke our hearts
Oh, yeah.
with the one throw. And it's interesting because Case Keenum is at one throw higher also. You've got these one throw higher guys here.
Your man Benjamin Albright, he put a tweet out where he was quoting someone, and someone said, with Case Keenum, with Joe Flacco, you have to defend every blade of grass, but with Keenum, you don't have to. And with Flacco, you got to count. Yeah, you got to account for everything. With Keenum, you don't have to, which is a total indictment of paying Keenum whatever they paid him.
$18 million
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
a year.
When Wade came on the show last week, when he came on the show, I said, you got to love Joe Flacco. He said, because I asked him how the defense, if you're defense against Flacco, what do you do, all those things? You got to love the guy, because without Joe Flacco, you don't get the Broncos job. He said, what are you talking about? I said, if they don't beat the Broncos in double overtime, John Fox doesn't get fired.
That's true.
And then you're not hired the next year. He said, oh, yeah, I love Flacco.
How far back does your relationship with Wade Phillips go?
30 years.
30 years. So you met him when he was working for the Broncos?
Yeah, as a defensive coordinator here, Dan Reeves hired him. Dan Reeves hired him because he worked for Buddy Ryan in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then Dan Reeves wanted him to bring that 53 defense here to Denver. And then when Wade got here, he said, hey, they fired Joe Collier, who's the best defensive coordinator maybe of his era up there through a lot of time with what they had here. And when Wade got here, he said, well, I got a 3-4. I don't want to run the 53 defense that the Bears had run. That he was running in Philadelphia, because at that point, but Buddy Ryan, I've never been a huge fan.
I've got my 85 Bears shirt on right there.
Buddy Ryan, as a rule, you're not allowed. They don't make lateral trades, but Buddy Ryan was getting credit for the Wade Phillips defense in Philadelphia. So when the Broncos asked to talk to Wade, Buddy Ryan knew that Wade was not getting the credit he deserved. He said, if they want to make a lateral move and they want to, I'll release you from your contract. Because at that time they didn't take lateral moves. If you had to be assistant head coach if you moved on that. So Wade gives a lot of credit to Buddy Ryan.
So you hung out with him, had barbecues with him,
Yes.
You spent time with him. Yeah. So I mean,
we've been good friends for 30 years. We talked at every stop that he was at.
So
what
his favorite restaurant is in Denver?
Yanni's.
Yanni's
at the landmark.
Yeah, at the landmark.
Opa.
We've had dinner there.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. We got to get into the fourth quarter, guys.
Jeez, this thing's flying by.
Well, we just got to break it up. We're almost at an hour now. We're gonna go over. We got plenty.
I haven't even asked about John Wayne.
Can I give you a quick Wade story about how he originally got hired as head coach?
Please do. Wait. Now, is this the one you might have told us this where they were trying to get Shanahan?
And Shanahan walked out of the building. We were all in the building.
This was 7 years ago. Tell the story, and then we'll go to break.
Years ago, though.
Tell the story. It's a good story.
Well, Wade Phillips was in his office, and Mike Shanahan wanted the Dan Reeves power. And I've heard this story from Dan Reeves. I've heard it from Mike Shanahan, and I've heard it from Wade. Mike Shanahan, the media, we're all assembled. we're ready
To introduce Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, we're sitting in there, right? We're ready. And Mike Shanahan says, yeah, if I don't have the power of the draft, all the different things that went with that, he said, I'm not signing up for this. So, which was a good move on him. And Matt Bowlen walked down the hall and said, would you like to be head coach of the Denver Broncos? Just with the media's here. He said, what are you talking about? Yeah, because he was hoping to be retained as defensive coordinator. He says, I'll give you 250, 300, 350. He said, the next 3 years. And he said, sure. They shook hands. He never had a contract. They shook hands, walked down. We're sitting there. Wade was standing there in the sideline. We thought Wade was in the room. We thought Mike was going to. They're coach of the Denver Broncos, Wade Phillips. And it was like,
and everyone just went, what the
the
heck?
air went out of the room. Never had a contact, shook hands. And that was a mistake on Wade's part because they never paid him for that third year, which is why they almost, because he sued for it, which is why they almost didn't hire him as defensive coordinator last time he came here because they were in a lawsuit. Because
what a nasty business.
What a wicked web we weave.
Yes,
but that's a great
when we
story.
first practiced to deceive.
Yes, sir. That's a great story. It's 7 years. We heard it then. It's even better now. So I love it.
Oh, did I make it better?
You did make it better, actually. Yeah, because I think the aspect of like everyone not knowing and thinking Mike Shanahan was coming out, I think that made it better. So good stuff. Let's get into the fourth. We got plenty to talk about. So let's take a quick break. Be right back.
Wow, you remember that story from 7 years ago? Good.
There are certain stories we don't forget. Tom Nalen told us a story we'll never forget.
Well, I'm wondering if you should tell that story and see if he would corroborate that.
On mic or on video?
Well, on mic, because there's probably like 8 people watching this and won't watch it later till,
Okay, I'll bring it up on
Okay.
mic then.
Just to see what he says, if there's any truth to it.
Mark Jackson couldn't wait to get out of here. When Reeves went to the Giants, Reeves brought Mark Jackson with him first year.
Yeah.
Because Mark Jackson was like, John, I'm open over here. Just stop throwing to him. Because he questioned Elway's. He said, I'm standing here wide open, throw me the ball. And Elway stopped throwing to him because that's from one comment.
And that was before Twitter.
Oh yeah, remember when Elway went through he was working for Hershey and or Curtis candy bars, and then he gave out Hershey's on Halloween. Do you remember that?
No, I do remember that. Oh my God! I read about that in the Gazette fucking Telegraph.
He was working for like Butterfinger.
That was forever ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I do remember that. It's vague.
But at social media bit of that, Tom didn't have nothing to do. He had help go buy candy.
Sure.
Wasn't like he had anything to do with it. That was a big thing, though.
When several years ago, and maybe you can confer that this happened, we had a certain offensive lineman on our show that did some radio. Remember that guy?
Well, we're going to talk about that after the break.
Oh, we're going to talk about
Nalen.
it? We're going to talk about it?
Yeah, you have your headphones on.
Okay, cool. Never mind. Well, we'll bring that up then. Because I want to know, like,
I want Gil to speak up on that.
okay, cool. We'll wait on that one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of as well. Okay, cool. We're on the same page.
Okay, 8 people watching this. Elway,
How many people are watching?
Kathy Saban.
How many people are watching?
8.
Really?
Yeah, that many. Elway, Saban. What do you know?
Elway's what?
Elway, Kathy Saban. Yes or no?
Oh God.
I know the answer to that.
I think we all think we know.
No.
the
I
answer
know the answer.
to that.
And I will get off the camera.
John's a complicated guy.
John's a complicated guy.
Yes.
Oh man, I have
At what
never
point in
been
time
more. I have never been more envious of John Elway.
At what point in time I
Right
worked
now.
with a guy who was engaged to Janet Elway. And
Why are you envious of John? Because of Paige?
Saban. Saban's still hot. She's in her 60s.
Well, you know, the backyard.
I'd love to get in that backyard. Hi, Kathy. I'm sure she's one of the 8 people watching right now. Kathy Saban's got nothing better to do on a Wednesday night.
Are the mics on the internet right now?
Well, that one is.
Yeah, it'll pick us up.
The hero mics.
Yeah, just to kind of we do
We
this
just had
room
the
mic, just kind of pick up
Elway
everything
Saban
for
discussion.
Yeah, wait, what?
Saban.
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 Kathy.
Kathy.
Oh, I was like thinking about that coach. I was like, Saban.
Yeah, Nick or Kathy?
Yeah, John Elway and Nick Saban got it on. Nasty stuff.
Great, I guess I missed it.
You ever met Kathy Saban?
Nah,
She's like 6'1".
that's tall. Yeah, she seems like she'd be pretty tall.
So seriously, John, Nuggets. When do you want to go? I've been.
I don't go out. This is the only time I go out. I come here. This is it. Otherwise, I don't go out at all.
I don't go out at night much at all.
Nah,
I got a Scotch dinner tomorrow night at the Celtic. Fuck.
Scotch dinner.
That's
Like drinking Scotch.
Yeah, they serve different scotches with different courses.
Wouldn't they serve Irish whiskey there?
Yeah.
It's Irish bar.
Tell them we're due.
Oh, well, Tullamore Dew's all right. There's some really good Irish whiskeys, though. They make some really good ones. I know. I've drank a lot of them. I like Irish
I'm
whiskey.
a wine guy. I do. You know, I was Continental Airlines wine columnist for almost 4 years, and Denver Business Journal before that. I'm not Scotch and food. I'm wine and food.
I love wine. I'll drink wine anytime. It's good.
Yeah, I don't even care like what it is.
Well, it can't be like rock gut, but like I mean, like.
Just saying, in general, it's good.
But wouldn't you agree? Like you can find like a decent bottle of wine for like $6-8. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
no,
no.
you can't. But I mean, you can. You can find a bottle of wine for $14.95 that drinks like it's $45.
Yeah,
And that's what my job as a sommelier
to find
and as a columnist
yeah.
is to do. $6-8. You're buying into the winemakers who buy their grapes by the pound.
Yeah.
By the hectare. And they come from everything. But if you're in the $14, $12, $18, you can find guys. They grow their own grapes.
It's still quality wise.
Yeah. Price of wine is usually the rarity of it, and that's what drives the price up. You can find a lot of really good wines for $14.95.
I drink a lot of $2 Chuck. It wasn't.
Yeah, $2 Chuck is not. Sometimes they'll have great grapes. Other times not so much.
Yeah, you still know.
It's just they buy by the bulk.
But I found like with beer, like it's like there's a lot of beer I don't like probably 80%.
Sure, but wine, most part, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
like you can give me wine, I'm like that tastes good. I'm
Yeah,
fine
that's
with
what I mean. That's what I mean. Especially if
We
you're
have one more of these.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Well, you drinking that Caskmates, huh?
Dude, this shit is so good.
It's good. Is that what's that? The
I
IPA?
drink Coors Light when I'm out because of that and Malibu are both near water.
You know, the taste great, less filling theme with Miller is no bullshit. That Miller Lite is way less fattening than Coors Light.
I had White Claw for the first
Way
time.
less.
Have you
Really?
did that White Claw?
Yeah.
It's not
They
bad.
had a Super Bowl commercial.
It was not bad. They at the Nuggets game, they got the big tall boys. You don't have to wait in line. The guy's right there.
Yeah.
Boom, and-
Spencer Cheryl Tweedy loves White Claw. She's well into it. She
It's going
posts
around.
pictures of
It was not bad.
Yeah.
I felt clean afterwards. Like beer, like you feel kind of bloated and gassy, and I just
Tell me about it.
felt good
No
and
shit.
clean after that.
That's what, if I go to a Rockies game and I'm just drinking beer for like 6 hours, like I just feel like, it's like,
What had
So Scott, here's
going
what,
on there. That was
here's what I'm thinking, bro. Let's lay in a read,
Okay.
and then the news music
Okay.
for headlines to
Teeling.
baselines.
You ever had Teeling Irish whiskey?
Oh,
Sorry.
Teeling.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's Irish
it's
whiskey.
good. It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. There's
Yeah,
some
it's good
quality
stuff.
shit.
Okay.
And then music.
Okay.
I'm a whiskey guy.
What is
I'm
you're gonna say
I'm
finally
brown
tonight.
whiskey.
I know where
Yeah.
you're- I
I'm
know where you're gonna
bourbon.
be then. Okay, cool.
I'm Irish whiskey. I'm Scotch.
Yeah, more and more. I like this.
I'm a gin guy.
Yeah.
Drink a lot of gin martinis,
I stopped
a
drinking
gin,
gin.
but only at home. I don't drink.
No, why pay $15 at
No.
the bar?
Well, I don't have to. I eat and drink everywhere for free.
that is
That is bold.
nice.
It's good
That
to
is
be.
bold.
It's good to be the guild.
It's good to be the Gill. It's good to be the Gill.
All right.
That's the name of the show right there.
Yeah,
It's good to be the Gill.
Now, you even know the new name of my show?
It's good to be the Gill. That should be the name of your show.
No, it's Whitely So.
I didn't know that.
I just changed it
Oh,
not
man.
long ago.
I would go with it's good to be the Gill. I like that better.
All right. All this talk has inspired me for my bump in music, just so you know.
Okay.
I
So
did.
let me drop a read in
I
and then headlines to baselines.
I think what I was reminded of is your white nationalist rapper character you did about a year ago. that his album would be Whitely So. Remember this?
Oh, so good.
Remember this?
Yes, I do.
And I remember I just was saying, I was laughing so hard at the whatever it was saying, DJ something.
I don't remember.
I gotta remember what it was the white nationalist rapper. Oh Christ!
Let me buy you guys lunch right there.
Oh, I love the South.
That's $100.
I love the South.
That's $100 at the South.
Fucking A.
Wow.
All right, we're all
Wow.
good. Said they got good margaritas at the South.
They do. Get the handmade ones.
Nice.
Are you guys ready
That's cool,
to get
thank
back
you.
into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a read.
All right, let's go for now.
Hey, you guys, you got to go to Mutiny Information Cafe at Broadway and Ellsworth and tell Mac and all his legions of awesome fans that the South Stand sent you. They make iced coffee with the ice cubes made out of coffee. Why didn't I think of that? It's a bookstore. It's a record store. It's a amusement gallery. It's a unique Denver institution, Mutiny Information Cafe. Tell Matt I told you to come. Please tell him the South Stand sent you. Ooh, fantasy baseball drafts are coming up, and you want to prepare, but at the same time, you want to stay atop of world events. And so we present headlines to baselines, fantasy baseball news combined with world headlines. And it goes something like this. 4 people were seriously injured in an avalanche at the Swiss ski resort on Tuesday, where a massive search was launched for possible survivors on the mountain. And you should be careful not to get buried by failing to research the injury status of players prior to your draft.
Fair.
According to German news sources, Britain has urged Germany to exempt large defense projects from its efforts to halt weapons sales to Saudi Arabia. Also, don't be afraid to spend on a couple of early round picks and get some big arms. Big arms?
Yeah.
French police
Yeah, we got it.
shot
We
a
got
man dead in central Marseille on Tuesday after he stabbed 4 people in the southern port city. Also, you should take your shot at a quality closer early in your draft before taking multiple jabs at the waiver wire.
Oh,
The day after an explosion in central Cairo killed 3 policemen, Egypt's security forces assassinated 16 alleged Islamist militants. And your league mates will blow up the list of available catchers in your league. So kill them all by stacking your team with high upside bench players. Canadian Railway Company on Monday said that its environmental experts are continuing the cleanup of a site in Western Canada where one of its trains derailed on Saturday, dumping tons of toxic pollutants. And if your draft comes off the rails, you can clean things up by focusing on trusty veterans in the middle rounds. And the final thought. 7 children, all members of a Syrian refugee family, died early Tuesday in a house fire in Nova Scotia. Also, you'll want to draft several sizzling youngsters since stolen bases make up a fifth of the points in your league. That's baselines to your life.
I know could have written that.
Sizzling youngsters.
It's my favorite drinking song.
Oh my god. Woo! Woo!
Beer bottle mama, you're the one for me.
Beer bottle mama. She's a chronic masturbator, I assume.
That's right. This is World War II here.
Wow. Wow.
You know what Harry Carey's?
Sizzling youngsters.
You know what Harry Carey's original beer sponsor was in St. Louis?
It's gotta be Pabst Blue Ribbon. Schlitz.
This is the
Old style.
honest to God's truth. Greasy dick beer.
Greasy dick beer.
Can't you wait to get home? Put a greasy dick between your lips.
Imagine drinking that.
There was a Greasy Dick Brothers, and it was 100% true. I'm not even
GREISE.
It's pronounced the way I just said it. But it's spelled a little different.
Wow. Dip into a greasy dick. Wow. That's tough sledding right
Stuff you
there.
didn't know.
That's
There
awesome.
you go.
Kathy Saban knows all about those.
Hey, Gil, go ahead and plug that great card you gave us. Go ahead and plug that
The
place.
South, I'm
Yeah.
sending you guys to the lunch,
Yeah.
lunch at the South, all 3 of you. Bring
That's awesome.
That'll get you 4 lunches.
That's
It
awesome.
says South. I'm Huron, right across from where Cinderella City
Used to be, yes.
Oh, I know
No,
exactly.
the South is
Yeah.
no joke, and it's owned by a former Denver Broncos player,
Jerry
linebacker,
Sturm.
I believe. And it's got a
Offensive
Bronco.
lineman, Jerry Sturm, all broke several times.
What kind of food? We talking
It's
about?
Mexican food. It's slimy, greasy,
Great.
drenched.
The quesarito is to kill for.
Yeah,
Their fish, I don't like
and
fish
huge, an awesome margaritas. By the way.
Okay.
Fish tacos, I don't like fish tacos.
I love fish tacos.
They're unbelievable.
Oh,
They're
that sounds
unbelievable.
All right, we're doing that. That sounds great.
Nice.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, the
Appreciate
South
that.
is no joke, bro.
It's very good. Yeah, good stuff. Well, where are we at here, Colin? I mean,
Well, I'm bummed out about something.
what,
I'm bummed out about something, and I know Gil has got a tie to Chicago, and so do you.
Yeah.
And
Scott.
Scott, of course, you all have ties to Illinois. One of the annoyances I have as being a TV viewer locally is I want to disconnect my cable, as I've talked about before. And the problem is that you can't if you have Altitude Sports or Root Sports Rocky Mountain or AT&T Sportsnet, as it's now known. And the regional sports networks are tied indelibly to cable, but they were not in Chicago, where the Chicago Cubs were broadcast via antenna on WGN. You could get them on the UHF dial up until like a month ago. And now they've signed a deal to start their own regional sports
Like
network.
the Yankees, kind of.
Just like the Yankees, just like the Rockies. And so now, after 70 years,
Gil, as long as you've been alive.
with WGN, since the radio days, since the early radio days, the Cubs have cut their ties with WGN and are starting their own regional sports network. And so now you will not be able to stream a Cubs game. You will only be able to watch on cable. The same problem I have locally. And it's a real bummer because that tie with WGN is a reason that there are so many
Superstation,
Cubs.
yeah.
That's the reason there's so many Cubs fans right here
Yeah,
in Colorado.
absolutely, 100%.
It's crazy.
Back in the late 50s, early 60s, WGN broadcast all the Cubs home games and all the White Sox home games, and Jack Brickhouse did them both.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
They-
One
they
guy
didn't
did them
travel.
both.
They didn't travel. They did the home games. And so Jack Brickhouse, you know what WGN stands for?
The world's greatest network.
Newspaper. It was the kid was owned by the Tribune.
The world's greatest newspaper.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. No, I
that's
had no
what it
idea.
said always on the masthead of the Chicago Tribune. Always said world's greatest newspaper, and WGN. That's what that stood for.
I delivered the Chicago Tribune as a child. I delivered the
I
newspaper.
delivered the Gazette Telegraph.
Yeah, excellent. But that's just naturally where things are going. So Yankees have their Yes Network.
But it sucks because I can't stream that shit.
well,
I want to cut the cord.
I
I
know.
want to cut that cord, but they've got it wrapped around my neck. Altitude. For fuck's sakes. Now, I've heard rumors that the new Disney streaming service is going to include several regional sports networks, or RSNs as they're known. But I am-
devil.
I want that. I want that to come. I want it to come to me. I want to cut Comcast out of my life desperately because what do I watch? I watch Netflix.
Yep.
I watch HBO, which I can get on Go, HBO Go. I can stream everything I want except Rockies games
True.
and Nuggets games.
Right.
Yeah. You can now.
I'm thinking of going just back to basic cable, which I don't even know.
But you
what
don't
that-
get altitude.
Cut.
You got to get the sports package.
I know you've heard this before, but let's say it again, right? If you have a VPN,
VPN. I
You can
know.
do it.
But that's cheating.
but aren't they
Who cares?
cheating?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not necessarily cheating. It's just that it's difficult for the common person to do that.
But
They-
it's really not. Like there's
And
And I want to watch on my flat screen. I don't want to watch on my
well,
laptop.
you'd have to have some sort of a program that would, like if Apple, you could do,
Apple
you-
TV.
so
Don't you
near
have
right
smart TVs?
yeah, with a smart TV, you could access a browser and,
But wouldn't the quality be
No,
crappy?
that's fine.
my main,
That's true too.
my
No browser.
biggest of my, I have two big screens in my living room, and I keep sports on there with
But
no
you'd have,
volume, and then we're
And
watching
Fox
it.
News on the other because you're 70.
you'd have to install a VPN on the smart TV. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, that's the
Unless-
issue.
I don't know.
He's got people for that.
It's
You've got
it's
people-
the way it's going, and unfortunately, now with the altitude, if you have Comcast, you can get the altitude app, so you can sit on iPad and watch the Avs game if you want.
But you have to have Comcast.
You have to have Comcast. Now that is appealing to me. If Altitude said, "Hey, we're going to say, we're going to offer $50 for the year," and
Give me $9 a month, $11 a month, $12 a month. I'll pay it.
yep, I would
I'll
too.
pay it. My Comcast bill is $240 a month.
If I could get the Rockies and the two teams on Altitude that I want, the Avs and the Nuggets, I could probably get rid of cable.
Dude, I did the math and I published an article at our site about this very subject. And if it weren't for Altitude and AT&T Sportsnet, I could save 75% on all of the shit I watch. Because what I watch is Netflix.
You
I watch Netflix. I watch HBO.
You are 100, and they make you buy stuff that you don't even want. And
I don't want any of it. I don't want most of it.
in the-
99%
In
of it.
the very near future, you'll be able to pick the 7 or 8 or 10 things you want coming off the internet.
We've been saying that for
and just
30
pay
years.
for
though.
those. No, it's coming up pretty quick because they can't stop it.
So you could ideally get NBA TV. You could get MLB TV.
But you have to show that you are, if you're watching the Rockies,
I've got to have a
You
subscription.
could even get Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah. You could get a lot of
the
sports.
VPN.
I'm recording
So that brings my point. You're talking about beer. You're talking about the Rockies. Let's talk a little Rockies before we have to check out of here. The Rockies are coming up. It's springtime, and it's not springtime yet.
To
It's
me,
still
to
wintertime.
me, the entire conversation surrounding the Rockies is Nolan fucking Arenado.
Absolutely. Manny Machado just signed 10 years, $300 million. Is that what it was? $300
What a
million?
mistake.
Do you think it's a mistake?
Oh, a huge mistake.
Oh, for
I
him?
agree.
Yeah.
I
The
agree.
Padres aren't ready to win right now at all.
No, that's
And Manny Machado is a boring guy who's not going to bring another. Oh, Manny Machado's coming to town. Let's go out and watch it and go see them. Machado's not going to sell another ticket, and they're not going to win with him. They're 3 years away if they make all the right moves. That's a huge mistake.
sure.
No 10-year deal has ever worked out.
No.
But what if they offer Nolan something similar?
I'll give
Oh,
Nolan,
no. I mean,
give Nolan 10 right now.
I had Thomas Harding on today, and he said, well, they're going to make a deal with him, 32, 33 million a year for 5-6 years. Right now, Nolan Arenado, they made Wheaties boxes to put this guy on. He has no baggage. Nolan Arenado, if the Yankees go, hey, I want him, he'll be the best
He
guy.
wants to go to the Dodgers.
I know. You can't go in within division. And I'm a Dodger fan. I grew up in LA. But, the Rockies have to keep him there. But
if they keep him for 4 years or more, I'm getting a tattoo.
Mark Cuban gets a paycheck every 2 weeks from the Mavericks?
I think he gets a paycheck whenever he wants to get a paycheck.
Exactly. But believe me, Charlie and the appropriately named Dick collect paychecks every 2 weeks. I want my owners writing checks, not collecting them.
Absolutely.
And you're going to sit there. They're not going to give a 10-year deal. The Yankees can run it. Arenado's 29. Machado's 28. And he's nowhere near as good as Nolan Arenado.
So do you think the Rockies can do it or no?
This deal scares me to death that the Machado deal.
Yeah, but they basically and I think it might have even been Thomas Harding said, well, once Machado gets set, then they can say, hey, here you go. It's a huge contract, but they can just say, hey, Nolan, here's a little bit more than what this Joker got because you're better. And then he's all good, right? I mean, they give him 10 years. He's good for 10 years.
They're not going to give him 10 years.
You don't think so?
They're going to try and get him for 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm. Well, still 6 or 7 at 32 million is still more money.
I said on the show today, if you get a deal for $50 million, I'm signing you for $50 million. That's generational money.
I know.
But if you get
How much more do you need?
If you get a deal for $300 million or a deal for $250 million, does that? I mean, so that
you can change the world with $300 million.
Oh God! And or 250. Is your life different if you say, I'm going to take the 250? Does your life change? Is your life one bit different if you took the 250 and said, hey, I'm going to stay here in town rather than take $300 million?
No, there's no.
That's such unfathomable money. But I mean, to say no one's going to walk away from 50, if that is your your contract is offered, oh my God, generational money. My kids have money. But between 250 and 300 million, what's the difference? You're going to eat any better? You're going to sleep any better? Nicer house?
Yeah. No. But it might mean something to these athletes, though. They might, I need 301
status, bragging.
And I honestly hope that does not mean that much to Nolan.
Yeah, and hopefully he's above that.
I don't believe when I hear him talk about his passion for the organization, I don't think it's false, and I hope I'm right.
Well,
I really do.
Gil, what do you think? Do you think somebody like that is like, they pay me good, I'm going to stay here, or do you think he's like, you know what?
The Rockies made the playoffs the last 2 years, but who noticed? To get any real respect in a town where the football team, everybody wants to talk about the football team that has been irrelevant for 2.5 years. All right, but that's who everybody wants to talk about. They need to win a playoff. The Rockies need to win a playoff series to get the kind of love that they're looking for. Same with the Nuggets. Nuggets scared the hell out of me. They need to win a playoff series.
I believe they will.
I love the Nuggets this year.
Yeah, I think they will too.
But hey, Michael Malone has now won an NBA All-Star game. He's never even coached in an NBA playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
He has him as an assistant, but not.
Hey, I have as an assistant. Shit, come on.
No, I believe I'm very, very passionate about the Nuggets, as you can see by I've got $300 worth of their shit on right now.
Is that a Nugget? Is that a Nuggets rope too? You're wearing?
Yeah. This is officially licensed NBA. Yeah.
Like
I am absolutely convinced that they will win at least one series, but that's it.
Depends on who they match up against.
That's true. I mean, you get the Lakers.
Give us Houston.
I think number one, they won't get the Lakers. Lakers don't make the playoffs.
Nope.
Yeah, they get a tough.
That whole team, that whole team has been now. Hey, LeBron is going to trade you.
Assalamu Lakers.
Gil, how much?
That was brilliant.
What's the single biggest problem with the NBA, Gil?
It's a street cred league, and it's controlled by 7 or 8 superstars, and Nikola Jokic gets no. Nikola Jokic right now is 2.5 assists short of averaging a triple-double, and he gets no respect at all.
No, they were ordering drinks from him at the All-Star game.
So it's a team sport, and individuals run it. Harden's stats are all selfish.
Absolutely,
are all selfish.
He's the league's MVP right
They
now.
stay to who? They should have a best player in the NBA trophy, and they should have the most valuable, because the most valuable player in the NBA is Nikola Jokic.
Oh,
I like it. Can dig it.
I can get on that.
I'm excited though. I think it's going to be a good spring, and I like to look forward to the warmer weather myself.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just me. And I think the Nuggets will be in the playoffs. It's been
They
a
will.
while.
I mean, the Warriors have a chance to sweep the playoffs.
Ah,
you know,
they-
so-
Oh,
Yeah.
shut up.
Oh.
but they probably will.
Well, they do. They have a total chance to do that.
We mean
Uh,
sweep every game or
yes.
win every series?
Win every game.
No.
I think they have the opportunity to do it. No team's ever had that opportunity. I think they
Nuggets have that opportunity.
This is 5 All-Stars on this team. It's
I understand what you're saying.
let me throw a twist in before we go away. Gil, did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I love Breaking Bad.
I'm watching it again.
Yeah,
For the second time.
I watched it twice and binge.
Yeah, I'm binging it for the second time.
Jessica Jones.
And it's amazing how many.
Oh, I like Jessica.
Oh, she's fucking awesome. Oh my God. I can't believe how much shit I missed the first fucking time I watched that show.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the 4th episode of the 5th season. I passed Face Off, the final episode of season 4
Oh, yeah.
recently, where
ding,
the
ding, ding, ding,
where
ding.
the ding 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 and
Do I need to
the
binge Face Off?
Salamanca blows up the hospital room and
Do I need to
kills
binge
Gus Fring.
Face Off?
You need to watch season 4, episode 13.
No, do I need to watch all 4 seasons?
I think you should.
Okay.
I really do.
I'd like to at some point.
Having watched it a second time, I'm nearing the end. I think it's absolutely worth watching again. And the writing is, I think, the best I've ever seen in
It's paramount
TV.
to me as writer.
Have you watched Better Call Saul?
Better Call Saul was much better in Breaking Bad than it is in the series.
See,
I disagree.
I think he's better in his own. He was good in Breaking Bad.
his
but
character was better in Breaking Bad. There was more immediacy.
I kind of agree with that because he's a feature, not the center of attention.
but I've watched both of them, and I like Better Call
But I
Saul.
like the background. I like the Jimmy McGill background. I like what leads up to.
I think there's some really
Better
good
Call
acting
Saul
in
is a
Better Call
prequel.
Saul. I think there's some fantastic
Yes,
acting.
Right now in season 5 where I'm at,
Yeah, they're
the acting, and I've gone through stages. I think Aaron Paul is totally underrated. The job that he did is totally
yeah,
underrated.
I agree.
Everybody gives Cranston all the credit. Aaron Paul was amazing. But right now in season 5, it's the Skylar character who is really acting her ass off. And it's unbelievable. She's so distressed because she doesn't want Walt in her children's lives because he brings danger. And the tension and the acting performance of that woman, and I don't know the actress's name. I'm embarrassed to say. Skylar's actress's name. She is absolutely killing
She's
it.
very good.
And she's so milfy. So milfy.
Well, that's why you like it. Have you seen this season? And we didn't get into any movies and TV, and we should real quick because Gil is a noted film reviewer.
I used to be, but I do. I know more about film than I know sports.
Absolutely.
I do, and I love film. And if I could make any money at it, I'd still be doing film.
Have you
Unless
watched?
you're making-
Have you watched
unless you're making money.
this season of True Detective?
Oh God, yes.
It is so good. Have you been watching it, Colin?
I have. I find the
Mahershala Ali is.
I find it
fabulous.
I
It's
find
so
it a
good.
difficult watch because you cannot be distracted. You have to
No,
Oh, pay
really
attention.
focus.
That's a pay attention.
You have to
too.
really pay attention because you're dealing with various times in his life where he's dealing with
It
things.
switches up a lot.
Wow, they go through 3 makeup changes in that.
It's really good, and the season before was not good at all. It was very meandering. It was boring. This one has been gripping from the very start, and because of the actors that are in it, and because of how they've done it with the different kind of time periods, it's fantastic. It is so good. I just every time, every Sunday, I'm just like,
It's
so-
coming to an
I'm
end.
about-
It's
I'm
coming
about
to an end
next-
here next
yeah.
week, I think.
Absolutely,
I'm about 3-4 episodes behind.
Okay.
It's
I
good.
got, and I don't know, they haven't done anything, but I think it's a detective buddy that might be involved in the sale of the daughter to go somewhere else.
Little speculation on there.
Gil, a TV writer named Alan Sepinwall coined the term peak television. Do you think we've reached peak
Television right now is at its very highest. The movie industry is at its very lowest. They're making films out of dishes from restaurants. you know, video games. Every graphic novel has a thing, and that they've just lost it. Green Book. Have you guys seen Green Book?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Great film.
I loved it. I loved it.
And-
I loved every
and-
minute of that movie.
And the Oscars are now turned into a joke. I don't know if you understand. If you're an actor and you're voting for the Oscar, you get to vote for actors, supporting actor, actress, and all of that. If you're a cinematographer, you get to vote for a cinematographer. And it's just hey, I vote for Denzel Washington, or I vote for whoever it might be. Well, when it comes to Best Picture, you have no idea, because here's what happens. If there's 9 Best Pictures, there can be as many as 10, and there can be as little as 5. They take and they do they have a system, and no one quite understands this. They have a system where, if much like Tom Osborne did to CU, okay, you can vote. Your favorite picture at number 9, the second picture number 8, and there's been in the last couple of years they have put there's been a block of voters that have voted 9 on one film, and then the favorite, which La La Land, the year La La Land lost, there was a huge amount of people that put La La Land number 1, which was crazy. Tom Osborne did not put CU on his ballot the year that CU ended up splitting the national championship. If he puts them at 7, they win the national championship outright. So, but you can sway that vote. The best picture should be, pick your best picture, fine, and it should be a popular vote, not a graded vote like it is, because a block of people can move the best picture.
So
I have no idea.
People might have an axe to grind, or going like, I'm not even gonna put it on.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sucks.
Do you think they need to change the formats in movies? Like go back to the days when there's intermissions? Because I know, like,
Well,
I would love an intermission.
allegedly
during
the next
They were-
Avengers movie is
Those
gonna
were
have
in
an
the 4
intermission.
years. Those were in the 4-hour movie range.
still, but
And
like,
they-
But
think about
I need
movies.
to pee every 30 minutes.
So here, like,
Avengers will have an intermission, I heard.
I watch a lot of TV, Netflix, HBO, right? Because they're quick 45 minutes and they're
Yep.
done. If I get 45
and you
minutes,
have a
in-
pause button.
Well, that's true too. But I don't know. I just I think like my wife and I. It's
Your attention
9:30,
span has
We have 45 minutes to watch something.
your
we watch.
attention span is
There's
gone.
probably only been about 25 movies in the history of Hollywood that have had intermission.
Well, maybe they should.
If you had an intermission in the middle of a movie at the theater, they would sell so much more
yeah,
shit.
go to the bathroom.
They
and
would
get some
sell,
stuff.
you go to the bathroom, you
10,
get
15
another
break.
beer. And all these theaters now have draft, the one at the Landmark right next to
I
Yarmy.
love that's my favorite thing.
They got free popcorn, but
But they-
that makes you want to drink beer.
But
So
they-
shut it down
but they have-
at the fucking hour mark.
They have
and
people
how-
that will deliver your beer. They have waiters.
Yeah,
like waiters now.
Yeah,
But
but
then
you're
you
not
have to
going to do that because you're watching the movie. So shut it down for a fucking 5-7 minutes and buy me more shit.
Listen,
I love Alamo. Alamo Draft House is awesome. I love
100%.
going to that.
It's supply and demand. It's capitalism. Basically, they're saying, hey, there's so many entertainment options out there. We need to make this stuff as best as possible. So you tune in, or you go,
Or
to
you
the theater.
come here.
You go
Come
here.
here
Yeah.
and have a waiter
Yep.
bring you
That's
shit.
it. That's
And
it.
Potato skins
Oh, I love
and nice
potatoes.
drafts.
I
Yeah.
was all prepared to get in trouble tonight. You guys didn't lead me into trouble.
We're getting old. We've
Oh,
gotten old.
we
for
tried.
years. We've gotten
I'm
old.
amazed by that.
Yeah.
James Merrilat, asshole, right? Total
I
asshole.
love James Renner,
God damn you, Gil.
but he's tough. He's a tough guy to deal with. Just
Okay.
that-
Who's the biggest asshole in Denver sports?
Wow.
You want to get in trouble, Gil? You asked for it.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to force you into anything.
Yeah.
But
So what he said was Les Shapiro.
No, I didn't. No, not even.
no, we wouldn't put that position. We've always
I'm
been.
not going to go there, but I will tell you after we get off the air.
Okay. So sorry, folks.
That's
You're
fair.
going to
That's
lose
fair.
on that. Let's get out of here. We've gone well over. I know we could do a whole other hour just talking about whatever. Gil, 7 years has been too long. We got to have you back again.
I'm in. I love that. I really had a great time here tonight. So thanks for having me.
Oh, definitely. It's been awesome. Tell everybody where they can find you.
42. Oh, never mind.
Not your
Mile High
address.
Sports Radio, 1340 AM at GilFest. When you guys send out I don't know why I have like 1,800 Twitter followers. That amazes me. I should have more Twitter
You
followers.
should have 20,000, like me.
Well, so you guys send out a Friday follow or something.
All right.
Follow Gil Whiteley on this. on this thing.
We'll hit that up. We'll let
I
everybody
could
know
use
you're
some more
on.
Twitter followers. It amazes me that I don't get. I have 1,900 Twitter followers. But
You need
yeah,
Russian
I'm at-
bots. Russian bots.
No,
That's
you-
the key.
You don't want Russian
I'm
bots.
so old. I eat my Tide by the spoonfuls.
Whoa, no Tide Pods?
No.
You need actual powder? Wow, that is old school. That powder is just not. That's not what we're into at all. So it's good stuff. Thanks, Gil. It's been great. Like I said, 7 years has been too long. We'll get you back in here soon. Anytime we enjoyed having you.
Go White Sox. Go Tebow.
Did you say Gil White Sox?
I said go White Sox.
okay.
Go Tebow.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Go Tebow. I want him to make the team, baby.
And Whiteley so.
Let's go Tebow.
that's
Whiteley
awesome.
so.
Thanks again, Gil. Appreciate it. This was a great show. It was a lot of good
Tebow!
times. We got plenty coming up, so hopefully we'll get another one in soon. And until that time, adios.
We love you, Denver!
We'll wait till he's done with the song. Then you can now turn that off, and then you can speak your mind. So just wait till that's off.
Well, that's a great guy, but he can be a big asshole.
Oh, I know. I've encountered that myself. From time to
Wait
time.
for the big.
Are we off?
No, we're not off. We're not off here.
You can
yet.
turn that off though.
Oh, I could turn that off. Yeah. Hold on, let me turn.
Bye, internet. Fuck off. We're about to talk. We're about to talk real shit.
That's right.
Big boy talk now. Fuck off, internet. Eat a dick.